welcome to another money morning routine. So I've officially lost daylight in the morning, natural daylight. So my lighting might look a little bit different going into the colder months, but I have a lot to show you. It's been a very long time since I have done a YouTube money morning routine video. I just got back from Arizona, so I have a lot to show you. There's a lot going on. First and foremost, let's go over my checking account spending. We had a lot happening while I was away. So my investments came out. I had got gas a couple of different times, nothing huge. We did have to pay for Christopher's car tabs. That was $78. You can see here that I used our car maintenance sinking fund for that as a deposit back into my life. It's a savings inflow. And then here's my utilities. So Avista is my utilities. It's $585.43. That's what came out of my checking account. But if you go over here to my October budget, you can see that for Avista, I budget $800. That's because I am currently no longer on comfort level billing. I am budgeting for the fluctuation of my utilities on my own. So $800 was what I budgeted for, but it was only, let's see here, $585. So I put the rest into my utility savings account for $214 for the difference. And that savings account is used when that bill is higher than $800. So if it's less than $800, I save the difference. If it's more than $800, I use my savings. And that revolving, I call that a revolving savings account, you use and save. That's what's helping me budget for those fluctuations. So you can see I put that into my savings. So let's go ahead. I will go ahead and get updated with my highlighting later on today, because I need to go ahead and get updated with my cash spending. I had a lot of cash spending going on, so let me get there. So cash spending, a lot going on. Food. You can see I am pretty much out of food cash. Here's a bigger receipt for food that I had sitting there. I have Panda receipt. I have a Qdoba Mexican Grill receipt. I have one for Marabou Park Hotel. And that would have been when I went to the Max with a friend. So a lot. And it looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have $5 left in my food. So let's start writing all of this down for food, because it's going to be a lot. And I'm going to write it down in no particular order for date. I'm just going to start writing them down. So we'll start with Marabou. And let's write it down on my cash envelope first. So, all right, so I just got done writing all of that on my cash envelope. I need to scan all of these different receipts into my Fetch Rewards, so I'll get that done. But now we need to write this food spending down on my cash expense tracker. So I'm going to do that now. Put the $5 back into my food envelope, my ripped up food envelope. It's seen better days for sure. So that's been done. Next one, let's check out my beauty. Beauty, I have $0. That's because I went and got my nails done before I left. So I'm just going to put, I can't even remember the date that I did that, because I'm not near a calendar, but it was, oh geez. So I'm just going to say 10/18 nails minus 50. So that's there. Miscellaneous, I also use for my nails, minus 50. I think I still have, let's see, pets, 10, 20, 30. So I used 20 for that, so minus 20, bringing me down to 30 for that. My nails were spendy before I left because I decided to get a pedicure and getting my nails done. So household, it looks like I used my 40. So that was one, yeah, that's about right. So 10, 18, nails minus 40. Okay, so I spent on my nails 1, 40, 50, 60. So 160, that's about right. Yep, so 10, 18 nails, which is beauty, 160. Okay, so that takes care of that. I don't have a lot left in my envelopes. I'm now out of household. I have $30 in pets, $0 in beauty, $0 in miscellaneous, and $3 in fun. All right, and I have $5 in my food. So cash spending has been updated on my cash envelopes and on my expense tracker. So here are some other things that I have going on. Let's start with, I'm going to set this aside. Let's start with my savings challenge. Now I'm using the Budget Mom Savings Challenge Volume 1 book, and I'm currently on a challenge called Hidden Objects. And essentially, I need to save $30 for my polar bears. So I'm going to go ahead and take the $30 out of my pets. I'm not going to be using my pet envelope anytime for the rest of the month. So I'm just going to put, today is 10/29 savings challenge minus 30, leaving me $0 in pets. Okay, I'm going to put that into my savings challenge, 10/29. I took that from my pet envelope plus 30, giving me a $40 balance saved. Now you can see I have my little hidden object envelope, so I'll put it in there. Also need to mark it on my challenge itself, so I saved $30 there. I didn't save what I needed to for the hidden objects, but I did save 40, which I am proud of. So that is done for my savings challenge. I need to go ahead and make sure that I write that down in my book here. So 10/29 savings challenge. That's my savings category for $30. Okay, so that has been completely done. I have a lot to show you as far as November goes. Oh, also, you can see I prepped my monthly budget category breakdown, and I completely skipped the week before I left for Arizona. I didn't track it. I just didn't. Okay, I'm not even trying to remember that. But yesterday I had steak and rice. Going forward, it'll be pretty easy for me to track my dinners, as they're going to be a lot of the same meals. So steak and rice was yesterday. Probably I made a bulk meal, and so I'll have steak and rice for the next 2 days. So that will be really easy to track. Like I said, I got my monthly budget category breakdown prepped and ready to go to close out my budget. Now I am closing out my budget on Friday, which is Halloween. I don't know if the banks are going to be open. I'm going to check. If not, I'm going to have to close it out on Thursday. So either way, it's coming up real fast. It's going to be either tomorrow. Thursday is tomorrow. Geez. Okay, so let's talk about that. If I'm closing out October, I need to make sure I'm ready in November. There's a lot happening in November, and I have my budget calendar done. I am running a 10K at the end of November, which I need to get back to running for that. But I finished my November budget, and that's what I wanted to show here. I got that completely done. And with that, I started saving for my 2026 sinking funds. Now, I need to do a video on YouTube going over my different savings goals for the new year. These are sinking funds. Are these a type of savings goal? Yes. They're just short-term goals for a planned expense or event I know are coming up. I have other goals in mind that I want to do for next year, like I need to start saving for our Arizona budget again if we decide to go back down. there's some things that I'm looking at as far as my savings goals, but I'm also looking at different ways I want to visually track these this year, whether it's going to be using the visual trackers in the front of the workbook or if I'm going to decide to do something else. Most likely it'll be using the visual trackers, but we'll see. Here's the thing. I started saving for all of my 2026 sinking funds. That means all 3 of my birthdays, Chris, James, and Dante, back to school. We're saving for Christmas again, wedding anniversary. All of my ongoing sinking funds are continuing. My pet fund, car insurance, my homestead, my hay for $100 going forward, vacation, and so on. So I added back into those sinking funds into my November budget. And to do that, like you can see on my September budget, one of the things that I was doing was I was saving for my dream account. And because I'm adding back in my sinking funds, I'm no longer able to do my dream account for as much because I have so many other sinking funds now that I'm saving for. My dream account is now back to being just my homestead sinking fund. I was able to save about $3,000 for getting ducks and starting my orchard, but of course, I believe it's going to be more than that. So I'm going to continue to save right here as far as my homestead. So added those back in. I am also using some sinking funds in November. Vacation sinking fund for the California trip that we're doing at the end of the middle of the month. And then my Christmas sinking fund. Now is the time I am using it. November is the last Christmas savings contribution I make for 2025. I hit my $2,000 goal. I'm going to start spending that in November for Black Friday, and I'm starting my Christmas shopping. So that is in, you can see down here, my variable spending, Christmas, Black Friday, that $2,000 budget. So that has been done. My November budget has been done. The only thing that I need to do is my cash envelope breakdown for November, because I need to have my handy dandy teller slip. And I will go ahead and work on this later this afternoon. Speaking of cash envelopes, I have my cash envelopes ready to go right here. I'm using a really cute Halloween theme. I'll make sure to put a link to these envelopes. They're super cute. These cats are super cute. In the description of this video, if you want to use the Halloween envelopes. So that has been done. So I have those ready to go. Another thing that I wanted to do as far as my October budget is I want to get everything that came out on my expense tracker written down on the actual column. Can you see? My actual column is pretty blank. So I want to get through and write down everything that has come out so far for my bills, so I know exactly what I still have left to come out. I need to do that. Another big thing that I'm working on is my Arizona spending. So we just got back from Arizona on Monday. I am still going through that spending on my credit card and going to make a payment to pay that off. I'll be using my Arizona sinking fund to cover that payment to my credit card to pay off the spending that I did while I was down in Arizona, but I'm still going through that. You'll see it organized a lot like I did for my Yellowstone trip here in September. I'm just going through right now and breaking it all out and getting that figured out. So I'll have that ready to show tomorrow. But that is my Monday morning routine.